Tonight, on The Good, the Bad, and the Unknown, Sammy Davis Jr. gets sweet, sings for Raul Julia, and makes a deal with the devil. Roll the intro. Hello, boys and girls. This is your old friend RJ City, and I am back with another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Unknown, where I take an artist and find one work of theirs that I like, one that I don't, and one that not many people may know about. And today, we are talking about the Candyman himself, Mr. Show Business, Sammy Davis Jr. He was born Samuel George Davis Jr. and started performing in vaudeville with his father at the age of 3. He did everything: singing, dancing, acting, comedy, impressions. He was a nightclub hit, a recording artist. He did Broadway, movies, his own variety show. He was a member of the Rat Pack. He lost his left eye in a car accident. He converted to Judaism, and he even supported Richard Nixon. So naturally, he's made a bunch of weird shit. You may remember him best from movies like Ocean's 11 and Cannonball Run and TV shows like All in the Family and Chico and the Man. But my pick for the good is the 1969 musical Sweet Charity. It is a musical comedy drama, and it is the directorial debut of Bob Fosse, who also choreographed the numbers, and he also choreographed and directed the original Broadway version, so you know the dancing is going to be just fine. The film stars Shirley MacLaine along with Ricardo Montalban, who you may know best from Fantasy Island, and Cheetah Rivera. Shirley plays Charity, who is a taxi dancer, which is kind of like a pre-stripper stripper. So instead of a lap dance, men would pay these women to just actually dance with them. This movie has a lot of good songs, but most famously the song Hey Big Spender. This movie follows Charity through a series of failed romantic relationships, including one where her boyfriend pushes her off a bridge. Sammy plays Big Daddy, who kind of takes her in with the temptations of loose living and sings a fine song called The Rhythm of Life. He's wearing a damn fine outfit along with the biggest gold pendant I have ever seen. While the movie wasn't really a box office success and kind of marked the end of the big musical era, the critics mostly liked it, and it was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, although it didn't win any. Just at least watch it for Sammy's big song and then skip the rest. So the good was Sweet Charity, and for the bad, well, there was plenty of options. But I had to go with a film that I had never even heard of before, and I just had to share it with the world. It was the 1988 film Moon Over Parador. Before I say another word, you need to hear this cast. Richard Dreyfuss, Raul Julia, Dana Delaney, Jonathan Winters, Polly Holliday, Charo, Ed Asner, Dick Cavett, and of course, Sammy Davis Jr. It's actually a remake of the 1939 film The Magnificent Fraud, and it's an incredibly wacky premise. Richard Dreyfuss is an actor who is filming in the fictional South American country of Parador. He ends up meeting the dictator president and does an uncanny impression of him. When the president suddenly dies of a heart attack, Richard Dreyfuss is then forced by the second-in-command, Raul Julia, to now impersonate the president as if he were still alive. I should mention at this point that the real president was actually played by Lauren Dreyfuss, who is actually Richard Dreyfuss's older brother, and most of you didn't even know he had one. Anyway, after a year of pretending to be a dictator, Richard Dreyfuss has had enough and decides to stage his own assassination. And what better place to stage your own assassination than at a national concert given by Sammy Davis Jr., played by Sammy Davis Jr. So the majority of Sammy's role is singing the national anthem of Parador, a country that doesn't even exist. Even more bizarre, the music of the Parador national anthem is actually the same melody as the Spanish song Bésame Mucho. You know the song. The movie is not that good because for a comedy, it's not that funny. It has a 42% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and even though it opened at #1 at the box office, it quickly flopped and did not make its money back at all. However, if you wanted to hear Sammy Davis Jr. sing brand new lyrics to Besame Mucho, this is the movie for you. So the good was Sweet Charity, the bad was Moon Over Parador, and the unknown, well, it requires a little backstory first. As far back as 1968, Sammy Davis Jr. was allegedly involved with the Church of Satan. At the time, the church was run by Anton LaVey, a showman himself who added a little glitz to Satanism to make it more palatable for Hollywood. While it doesn't seem like Sammy was in the church in a formal sense, he definitely dabbled, and he would attend parties, he befriended Anton and other members. So it makes perfect sense that he would star in the 1973 TV movie Poor Devil. The movie is about a lowly coal shoveler named Sammy who returns to Earth to get the soul of Jack Klugman, all so he could get a promotion from the devil, played by Christopher Lee. Also starring Adam fucking West. Despite the insanely wonderful cast, the movie is very, very weird and not really that good. It plays out like a wacky sitcom, but it has absolutely no laugh track, and the depictions of hell are very chic. And the reason it plays out like a sitcom is because it was actually a backdoor pilot for a hopeful TV series. To no one's surprise, Anton LaVey allegedly loved the movie since it's basically a commercial for Satanism and wanted to make Sammy an official member of the church as a thank you. But the show didn't get picked up, and apparently the offerings of the church got a little too intense for Sammy and everything fell apart. What would the show actually have been? Would it always have been Sammy just fucking around with Jack Klugman, or would there have been a new soul every episode? I guess we'll never know. So the good was Sweet Charity, the bad was Moon Over Parador, and the unknown, which we now know, although we still don't know, is Poor Devil. I am RJ City, and this is what I've chosen to do with my life.
Guests of the RJ City Show, subscribe to his channel, follow him on social media, and buy his t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/RJ City.